where's your family, Chris? Like, where's your family? Oh, she got murdered. I mean, that is not what I thought. It's like, okay. Maybe she left, you know, maybe she just like went to her friends. Well, is when she got like reported missing. And I'm like, why would this girl call the cops? And like,
hey guys, welcome back to Rabbit Hole Rocks. This is part 5 of Nicole Kessinger's cringe police interview. So if nobody has any objections, we're just gonna go ahead and dive right in.
But first when he told me like his family was like not home, that didn't really seem odd to me that his family wasn't home. It was really vague. I'm like, okay, like, are they at the grocery store? Like, elaborate. And so, you know, and then, but he says, call me like it's like an emergency, but then just says that they're not there. And so I'm like really like floored by that. Well, not like floored, but just kind of like, he says, call me, so I'm concerned. And then he's really vague. So I'm like, maybe he just wants to talk to me. I don't know. I think it took me a little while to like really process the severity of the situation, just because this is not something that you expect to see every day. And the way that he talked to me made me believe that this is not what was going on at all.
Okay, so you make a phone call to him and you guys have a conversation.
I did. I stepped outside.
This is 3:45.
Ish. I mean, well, like, I think I actually interacted with Jim for, like, probably a good 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, he's my guest. He's in my house. So I don't think I called him right away. But, like, I mean, I'm trying to balance the fact that I have my friend here, and then Chris is saying that something needs to be addressed. But to me, it didn't sound like an emergency. I mean, it's all the time. Like, people aren't home right now. You know, so it just... It wasn't like, oh my God, I have to take this call.
It didn't register as being...
No. I mean, it was the way he said it. And I was,
I mean, it was the way he said it. Oh, wow. It sounds like there's some static or something interfering with it. So it's just gonna sound really bad. But anyway, let's continue.
I'm like, okay. So I remember hanging out with Jim for a while, and then I stepped outside and I made a call like out on my back patio. And I called him. And he didn't answer the phone. And then he texted me back. Or no. Did he answer the phone? I don't remember. I think he missed my call and then he called me back. Or he just answered. Either way, it was a very short talk to him where he was just like, I have to go. The cops are here. And I don't remember if he said that on the phone or over text. I'm so tired.
That's fine. You don't...
But either way, like,
it's
the cops...
context.
Yeah, I mean, you guys will figure it out. The cops...
She keeps saying, yeah, you guys will figure it out. You guys will figure it out. Except they couldn't figure it out because she deleted everything. She deleted all of the important text messages, all of the Google searches. She deleted the third-party apps where she mostly communicated with Chris. So she knows that they won't figure it out, which is why she's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really remember. I think I went out to my back patio and called him, and I think he missed the call. Wait, no. Did he answer it? I can't remember. You guys will figure it out. She knows that. She knows that she deleted everything and that the cops are not going to figure anything out because all of the evidence is gone. And again, she doesn't remember. She doesn't remember anything, ever.
The cops are here. And I'm just like, all right. And then I remember we were we were texting, but I was like hanging out with my company. So it wasn't like a nonstop text. It was just kind of like I would check my phone every once in a while and we would communicate with each other. And he was just saying like, they weren't there, and that her friend Nikki was there, and that her friend Nikki had called the cops. And I'm like, why would this girl call the cops? And I'm like,
why would this girl call the cops? Nikki called the cops. Yeah, she's saying that Nicole Atkinson called the cops. And so now she's like, something else happened, but I couldn't really keep texting him as much as I wanted to because I was with company, so I don't really remember. So again, she's doing the I don't remember, I plead the fifth, I don't recall kind of BS. And yeah, we see her rambling all over again, so let's go ahead and continue.
I honestly do not remember the order of operations on all of this, but I'm pretty sure the majority of our conversation that night until my friend Jim left the house, which was probably pretty late. I don't even know what time. Like,
Oh my God. The order of operations? What? Are we doing algebra here? Does she not remember PEMDAS? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction? Is that what she's talking about? What is this? The order, I don't remember the order of operations. And then she also said, yeah, that wasn't his normal standard operating procedure. Order of operations and standard operating procedures. What the hell is she talking about? But here she's like, I don't remember the order of operations. I think my friend Jim probably was late. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was late. Yeah, well, I looked outside and it was dark, so it must have been late. It's just so bizarre the way that she's explaining these things. Nobody explains it like this. Unless you're lying and you're panicking and you're like, I just need to say stuff so that you can please stop asking me questions about Sunday. Can we please just move on? Oh, we're Monday now? Oh, yeah, the day of the murders. Oh, Jim was there. Oh, can we just move on from Monday to now, please? Can we move on to Tuesday? I remember what I was doing Tuesday. Outrageous. This is outrageous. Wow. Let's continue.
9 or 10 was all via text. So you should have this via text. Like, I don't think we started talking again on the phone until, like, after my company left.
Now she's saying my company. Now she's not saying Jim. Well, after Jim left. No, my company. I was with my company. She's so weird. This is so weird. Let's continue.
And he was like, I don't know. He just started, like, giving me details about stuff, and I don't remember what order, but he was saying, like, Nikki was really upset, and that the cops were there, and that they were, like, searching the house.
Why does she keep saying, I don't remember the order? Who cares about the order? You are recalling something that Chris supposedly told you. I don't remember the order, that Nikki was upset, and the cops were called. But I don't know if she was upset first and then the cops were called, or the cops were called and then she was upset. Did she cry first, or did she cry last? Or did she cry in the afternoon, or did she cry in the morning? I don't remember the order. Why does that matter? Again, it's just fluff. Words. She's just throwing words out there because she doesn't want to tell the truth. So she's just making stuff up as she goes. And here the dad is like, oh God, you're doing so badly. Luckily, you are a protected witness and nothing's gonna happen to you. Let's continue.
I was just like, what? You know, like, what? Why? And he was telling me that they had, like, had a disagreement or something like that. And then he told me, like, she was going to go to a friend's house. And I was like, okay, well, maybe she left. You know, maybe she just, like, went to her friends. And then I don't remember, but I think he was the one that told me that her cell phone and her purse were still there. I think he told me that.
He told you her cell phone and purse were still there?
I think he told... Well, who else would tell you, Nicole? I think he told me that the purse and the phone were still there. Well, duh, who else is gonna tell you? But again, I believe... My opinion and speculation, I believe that Nicole knew that her phone and her purse were still there. So that's why she's saying other things. Like, I think he was the one that told me that her purse and her phone was still there. But I just told him, maybe they left. Maybe they went out, dude. I get the impression that she's panicking because she knows that she was in the house that morning, and she knows that the purse was there because she was supposed to drive it to the location where she was supposed to park the car and abandon the car. And the text messages that she was supposed to send to Chris from Shannan's phone were supposed to look like Shannan was leaving with the kids. There was so much preparation before this on Chris's side. He left that note for his family. He took this really weird picture of one of the dolls and sent it to Shannan, and Shannan ended up posting it on Facebook. And I think this was part of the whole plan, was to frame Shannan and make it seem like she was the one that murdered the kids. And that was supposed to be plan B. Plan A was supposed to be everything else. Chris was already texting Shannan, hey, if you are gonna take the kids, please let me know where they are. And there was no response, right? But that's because Nicole couldn't get into the phone because the password was changed.
You know where that goes?
I don't know where the house goes.
It used to be 235, but now it's 6 digits.
What's the baby's due date?
1/1/15.
stay mindful.
The plan fell through because luckily, the true hero of this entire investigation, Nicole Atkinson, Shannan's best friend, she knew something was wrong and she was there as soon as Shannan wasn't answering the phone. She knew something was up. And this whole plan fell apart so fast that neither of them could get their story straight because this wasn't supposed to be the plan. The cops were not supposed to be called that soon. They were supposed to make it seem like she disappeared. Maybe later in the day or the next day, Chris was supposed to move Shannan's body to another permanent location where she would have never been found. And then he would have eventually probably called the police and say, yeah, my wife left me or something. And this was supposed to happen over weeks. The fact that it happened so soon, it happened as soon as Nicole called the police and everything just went downhill for them. They were not able to get it together. The plan was not able to come to fruition. Unfortunately for them, because Nicole called the cops and neighbor Nate had footage of everything that had happened. Their entire plan fell through, and this is why they're not able to get it together right now. And this is why Nicole is panicking. She only had a few days to come up with something. As soon as she saw that video, I'm pretty sure that she saw Chris on TV and saw him flailing and just being a complete idiot on national television. And she's like panicked because she knows that he's full of shit.
I want them here. Like, this house is not the same. I mean, last night was traumatic. Last night was, I can't really stay in this house again, like, with nobody here. And last night, I wanted that knock on the door. I wanted to see this kid just run in, just barrel rush me, just give me a hug and knock me on the ground. But that didn't happen.
So I'm pretty sure she's like,
oh crap, I just need to go to police now because this is bad. He's really bad at lying and he's all over national television, so I need to do what Amber Fry did and come forward and say something. Otherwise, I'm going to be implicated in all of this and it's going to look worse for me.
and that's why she's stumbling through all of it. But let's continue.
I think he did. I don't remember.
What's the significance of that in your mind at that time?
I like turtles.
At that point, I thought this one.
Okay, let's go ahead and rewind it a little bit just so that we can see where she's talking about how Chris let her know that Shannan and the girls were missing, and she's like, yeah, I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. So let's watch that again.
He told me like she was gonna go to a friend's house, and I was like, okay, well, maybe she left, maybe she just like went to her friends. And then I don't remember, but I think he was the one that told me that her cell phone and her purse were still there. I think he told me that.
He told you her cell phone and purse were still there?
I think he did. I don't remember.
What's the significance of that in your mind at that time?
At that point, I thought this woman was really trying to get out of this house.
Okay.
That's what I thought, because he said that they'd had a disagreement, and I was just like, okay, well, I mean, I leave my cell phone at
When
home.
he said disagreement, did he tell you what it was about, or?
Not at that point. Not at that point. So, again, like, you guys are going to have to check these texts, because it's all, like, my brain. That's okay. Mashed potato right now. But I remember him saying that, and I'm just thinking, like, well, maybe she was in a rush, like, maybe she was just like, I'm going to my friends. I'm leaving my cell phone here because I don't want you calling me. I don't want anyone else calling me. I mean, there are days where, like, when I'm outside of work, I will just shut my phone off. I just do it, and it's, like, my way of getting peace. So to me, it was weird that it wasn't even that weird to me that she left her phone just because I leave my phone, but it was weird to me that she left her purse. But knowing the fact that girl was, like, always on her phone, then, yeah, I guess it is kind of odd.
Well, she lived on her phone, I think,
yeah.
which is my understanding of her and a phone. So I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
Until prior to the media stuff or just from Chris.
I did.
So did that strike you as off?
I did. I did. Again, she contradicted herself. She said, oh, well, I didn't think it was that big of a deal because I always leave my phone. I shut it off. That's my way of getting peace. But honestly, yeah, now that you mention it, Chris did tell me that she lived on her phone. So I guess that is kind of weird. And the investigator is again asking her, well, you did know this prior to the media. And she's like, yeah, I did. I did. Of course she knew, because like I said before, she's been all over her social media. She was all over her Facebook, so she was cyber stalking Shannan, so of course she knew that Shannan lived on her phone. So the fact that she's over here saying, yeah, you know, at first I didn't think it was that big of a deal, because I leave my phone, but actually, she always lived on her phone, so now that I think about it, yeah, that was kind of weird. This is all BS. None of it is believable. And she's stumbling through her words. She contradicts herself constantly and she doesn't remember anything. And she just keeps telling the cops, well, you're gonna find out. I'm sure you'll figure it out. It's in there in the text. Just look at the text. Just go through all of my deleted messages. Whatever. Let's continue.
But you're thinking maybe she just left.
I just thought she needed to like get away from the situation. I mean, that didn't seem that awkward to me that a couple that is going through separation would be like, or I need to leave. I just need some space. Like it didn't even like process. I was like, okay, like give her some space, you know? And on that note too, when he was in, we're gonna jump back for just a second.
Okay.
I had a thought. So when he was coming back from North Carolina, that was when he officially told me we're going to get a divorce and we're going to put the house up for sale. Like he told me they were separating and they were like going to put the house up for sale, but they hadn't done it yet. And then when he got back from North Carolina, that was when he was like, it was like sealed deal.
Okay.
And the reason that is of significance is because at some point over the weekend, I don't remember when, he told me that they were putting the house up. I don't know if it was they were putting it up on Monday, like the day they went missing, or if it was that they were calling the realtor to verify some stuff so they could put it up that week. Like I don't quite remember. I just remember like the house when it was supposed to be like on the market like that week.
Did you name a realtor?
Yeah, he did. And I don't remember her name. It was a female. Okay. And I don't remember her name like at all. I was trying to think of that for you guys not too long ago.
Company? Do you guys company name?
No, he never gave me that. He like gave me her name and it was the same name twice. He gave it to me once when he was in North Carolina and then once the other time. Because I remember asking, I was like, who's that? Because he's like, I'm going to have her call so-and-so today. Make sure everything's still good to go. And I was like, who's that? It's like the realtor. It's like, oh. Or not today, but like.
If it ever comes to your mind, just.
Yeah, I doubt it. That was such a. I will try. I don't.
Lots of names. It's not that critical.
Whoa! Okay, so she knew the realtor's name. Oh, I don't remember though. He gave me the name twice, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know. Like Chris told me that she was supposed to call. I think it was that Monday. But yeah, the house was supposed to be put up for sale sometime that week. No, Daddy, no, I don't remember the company name either. I don't remember. This is speculation. The reason she's remembering all these little key details are because she was supposed to be part of them. But she's letting the investigator know indirectly, like, yeah, I do remember this, but like, I had nothing to do with it. He told me the realtor's name, but I don't remember it. It was a female though, but no clue. Why would Chris give her the realtor's name? This is all very important information. And of course, you know, the investigator's like, yeah, that's not crucial. This is what makes the most sense to me. I'm going to use Occam's razor here. The simplest explanation is usually the correct one. Of course, Occam's razor doesn't apply to everything. But in this case, I'm using Occam's razor to explain that the reason that none of this makes sense, the reason the interview doesn't make sense, and the reason that she's all over the place and giving little key details here and there is because she was there. She was involved. Why did the phone ping that morning? Why was she in Frederick? Who knows? It could have been a cell tower that was glitching out. What is the most common sense answer here? It's that she was there. Because I have done some research on cell phone towers as well. I wanted to know, how close do you have to be to a cell phone tower for it to ping near you? We know that Nicole lived about 30 minutes away from Frederick, Colorado. She lived around 30 minutes away from Chris Watts. I Googled it, and from everything that I found, it says that to get that cell tower, the best connection is 1 to 2 miles. But it can, there's a range, right, with cell towers. It can ping all the way out to 5 to 7 miles. She lived around 30 minutes away. That is longer than 7 miles. So why was her phone pinging on the morning of the murders? And why didn't she and Chris talk on the morning of the murders? And here we see her again, panicking, and she's like, you know what? I remember that he told me this. I think it was him that told me that her purse and phone were still there. Well, if it wasn't him, then who else would it be? I think she is so nervous and she is panicking that she is giving willingly. She's giving a lot of information that she probably shouldn't be giving, but she knows that if she doesn't say other things and if she just keeps saying, I don't know, it's gonna make her look even more suspicious. So now she's saying things like, yeah, I don't remember the order of operations, but he called me and someone was crying and I think the person called the cops and I think he told me that the purse was there and you know what, now that I remember, he gave me the realtor's phone number and the name twice, but I don't remember it anymore. I do remember that Shannan was supposed to call either that Sunday or that Monday. I don't remember, but it was sometime that week. And again, which is a lot of information to be giving, but then she doesn't remember the 2-hour conversation that she had with Chris the night before the murders. All of these are Freudian slips, in my opinion. She's so panicked, and I think that she probably feels like she's getting caught up, and she doesn't know enough, right? Like she's here willingly. She can get up and leave at any point in time. But I think that she's trying to convince the investigators that she wasn't involved, that she's still there and she's still talking because she wants to convince herself that she's convincing and she's trying to convince the investigator. And I think that because she knows that she's messing up so much, she's like, let me redeem myself by saying this other thing. Shit, I fucked that one up too. Let me redeem myself by saying other stuff. Oh, you know, I do remember that she told me this. She's fumbling. She has no idea what to say anymore and she's freaking out. And of course, they're all lies. They are all lies. But let's continue. I'm gonna go ahead and rewind it a little bit. All right.
If it ever comes to your mind, just
I will try. I don't.
lots of names. It's fine. It's not that critical. That person may come forward to us anyways, perhaps. So don't worry about it. Let's go back to the phone calls on Monday afternoon.
Yeah. So.
Let's continue.
So he's like texting me a lot of this information, and I'm starting to kind of freak out. And it's not like I'm freaked out, like, oh, she got murdered. I mean, that is not what I thought. It's like, okay, like the way I looked at this, like, apparently his wife had been gone since midday. Was when she got like reported missing. I didn't know that. Like the way I looked at this, it was, I got home from work just now. I mean, he didn't say that, but I interpreted, I just got home from work. And my family is not here. So when we're texting for like a few hours, like the cop thing was kind of weird. But he's like, Nikki insisted they call the cops. And I'm like, okay, you know, and I'm just trying to figure out, well, like, what role does this woman play in this situation? Like, is she...
Did you know who she was?
No, I don't know any of his people. Like, this has been pretty, like, tight wrap for a while, which is probably a really good thing. But anyways, I didn't know, like, who she was. And so, like, I started asking him. I was like, well, where do you think your wife is at? And he's like...
That's a lie. Of course she knew who Nicole Atkinson was. How could she not know? She was all over Shannan's Facebook page. Chris told Nicole everything, but she doesn't know who Nicole Atkinson was? Come on. Let's continue.
He's like, I think she'll be back tonight. Like, I think she's, like, out with somebody. And he was telling me that they had a disagreement. So I was like, well, I remember telling him, I was like, you should make sure that you have a, wait a minute. No. So all that happened, and then it starts getting kind of laid out. And I remember we talked for text for a while.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind that because I think she was messing up here. She was like, wait. What was she about to say? Let's rewind it. Let's watch that again.
I remember telling him, I was like, you should make sure that you have a, wait a minute.
You should make sure that you have a... Wait a minute. So there's some truth here. I get the impression that Nicole and Chris were on the phone, obviously. He was letting her know, like,
yo, the cops are here.
And she's like,
Oh my God, you need to make sure that you have an alibi. You need to make sure you have a friend there that is helping you out figure this out. Because now that the cops are here, the whole plan is ruined.
that is my opinion and speculation again. That's how I'm seeing it here. And so she's been here for quite a while now. The interview has gone on for 2 hours now. She's supposedly hungry, but there's chips on the table and she won't eat them. So she's here like, what did I tell Chris? Like, yeah, he called me, but I wasn't really all that worried. And again, I think she's struggling here because she can't get her story straight. She's making stuff up in her brain. She's like, oh God, my brain is working overdrive right now. Please, brain, help me. Because her dad is like, well, I've done all I can do. This is all you now. She's tensing up. She's tensing up and she's freaking out and she doesn't know what to say anymore. But let's continue.
No. So all that happened, and then it starts getting kind of laid out. And I remember we talked for text for a while and part of this conversation, and then it moved to the phone. I remember telling him, because he was like, I think she'll just be back tomorrow. I think she's just going to be gone for the night, like with a friend, you know? And
Did he name the friend?
No, he didn't. And because I don't think, he made it sound like he didn't know, like, what friend's house she would be at. And I remember talking to him, and I was like, well, maybe it's that Nikki girl. And he's like, well, Nikki called the cops, so why would she be at Nikki's house? I'm like, I don't know, kind of throws her off the trail of where she's at, you know? And it's like, it sounds kind of weird, but it's like, he really made this sound like this woman was just like upset, left the house. And that was probably what he thought happened to her. And so I didn't really put too much, like...
Did he tell you the kids were missing as well?
Yes, I knew. I mean, which made sense to me because I was like, well, if you were at work all day... I mean, he didn't tell me he got home early. He didn't say that to me. So, I mean, it made sense. Like, if she's going to leave, Daddy should probably go with her. And so... I don't know. I feel like I wish I should have, like, processed all of this earlier, but I just don't feel like when one of my friends is gone, I'm like, oh my God, they got murdered. We should address this. Like, I haven't heard.
It's not a typical thought when somebody just checks out for a day.
No.
Let's get ready to
Rumble.
So it got late at night, and like I remember telling him, I was like, he's like, I think she'll be back tomorrow. And he was gonna go into work, and I told him not to. I was like, you need to stay home and you need to help the cops. I'm like, and you need to wait for her to come back. And he's like telling me, like, well, what if like she comes back and she sees my truck? And I was like, you know what I would do? I was like, I would ask one of your good friends who's off of work tomorrow to come over this house and hang out with you while you're here. I was like, go park your truck down the street. I was like, so she's upset at you and she wants to come back. I was like, but she doesn't want to be here if you're here, maybe. I was like, if she comes back, I was like, if she doesn't see your truck, maybe she'd be more willing to come in the house. I'm like,
okay, I'm gonna rewind this little part again. I want to watch this part again because here she says that she told Chris, maybe you should have a friend come over and hang out with you. And that's actually what happened. She did tell Chris, you should have some friends come over and hang out with you. Because the night that Chris was like, the house was just so quiet and it was just so awful and I was here by myself and...
Last night was traumatic. Last night was... I can't really stay in this house again, like, with nobody here.
I get the impression that night, Chris wanted to go and be with Nicole. But Nicole's like,
Dude, you can't come here. Like, this is gonna be overly suspicious if you come to my place while your family is missing. So I think what you should do is invite some friends over, and you should stay at home waiting for her.
Where are you gonna stay tonight? Probably my friends Nick and Amanda. If something develops in the next hours or so, like.
and I think this is what Nicole is saying right now. So I do believe this is true. I do believe that Nicole did tell him, hey, you should have your friends come over because you can't come here. The cops are watching you. You were just all over national television pretending to want your children back.
My kids are my life. Those smiles light up my life. I miss telling them, hey, you got to eat that or you're not going to get your dessert, just like you're not going to get your snack afterward. I miss that. And it was just like, I was and to go into their rooms and know that I wasn't going to turn their rain machines on. And I know that I wasn't going to turn their monitor on. No, I wasn't going to kiss them to bed tonight. That's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it. I just want them back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. I'm just throwing chicken nugget down. You want to say last night?
Oh, I just want them back. Please come back. I just want them back. And so she's like, bro, no, you can't come here. Have your friends come over because you can't come here. Again, all of this is my opinion. This is all speculation based on all of the evidence and what we're watching here in really bad, grainy quality footage. It's very bad, but we can still see it. So let's continue.
No, I feel like I wish I should have processed all of this earlier, but I just don't feel like when one of my friends is gone, I'm like, oh my God, they got murdered. We should address this. Like, I haven't heard
It's
from
not
them
a typical
forever.
thought when somebody just checks out for a day.
No. So it got late at night, and I remember telling him, he's like, I think she'll be back tomorrow. And he was going to go into work, and I told him not to. I was like, you need to stay home, and you need to help the cops. I'm like, and you need to wait for her to come back. And he's telling me well, what if she comes back and she sees my truck? And I was like, you know what I would do? I was like, I would ask one of your good friends who's off of work tomorrow to come over this house and hang out with you while you're here. I was like, I'm going to park your truck down the street. I was like, so she's upset at you and she wants to come back. I was like, but she doesn't want to be here if you're here, maybe. I was like, if she comes back, I was like, if she doesn't see your truck, maybe she'd be more willing to come in the house. I'm like, but don't be alone with her. I was like, because if she's upset enough to leave, I was like, you don't know what kind of conversation you're going to have when you get back in the house. And I was like, so that's why you should have a friend there so that you're not alone with her. And I was like, and for some reason you are alone with her. I told him, I was like, I really thought she just left. I did. I was like, get your phone, put it on video, and put it in your pocket. And I was like, and just zip it up. And he's like, why? And I told him, I was like, because you can voice record. I was like, so if she comes home, I was like, and you two are still if there's some choice words being said, because you guys obviously got into something that's,
Did he ever articulate what their argument was?
He did, and I will get there. But, I told him, just be prepared, because at this point, it wasn't I was trying to make her to be a bad person. It was just I didn't know what was going on. I assumed that she had left. So I was like, well, when you get back, because I knew that they were going through a divorce, it was just cover your bases, try not to be alone. And if you are, just record what you guys are talking about. So at the end of the day, nothing bad happens to you,
Cover your bases. Make sure you get a friend, make sure you get an alibi, make sure you cover me too. The investigator asked her, do you know what this disagreement was about? Yeah, I do, but I'll get there. What? What was the disagreement about? Earlier, she said, I didn't know what the disagreement was about. And now she's saying, yeah, I did know, but I'll get there. I think her brain is still processing it, right? Her brain is still what kind of disagreement should I make up? But I still have time because I'm rambling on about all this other nonsense that has nothing to do with anything. I'll get there. Just give me a second. I need to figure out what I'm going to say about that. This is insane.
Hi, baby.
Oh, and that was kind of how I processed that whole situation. And so he was like, all right. And then she didn't come home that night. That was Monday night, right? Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and rewind it because it's just, oh, dude, this is so bad.
And so he was like, all right. And then she didn't come home that night. That was Monday night, right? Yes.
Monday night.
Monday night, yes. And he told me this is what he told me they talked about, and I realized that this is like total bullshit, and I think he's telling you guys a different story. And I think the reason that he's telling me what he's telling, I think the story he's telling you is probably slightly more accurate than the one he told me on this case. And the reason is because I think he was trying to save his ass with the fact that she's pregnant. So he told me that she had asked him to wake her up before he left for work on Monday morning. And so I don't know if she did that on a text or how it was supposedly communicated. But he said that he went to get her up, which I also found weird because, like, she's still sleeping when he leaves because she gets up with the kids and they get up shortly after that, but, like, it's just him in the mornings, you know? And so he said that she woke up and those two kind of just, like, got in a disagreement. And I don't know what all was said, but he was like, she was being pretty mean. And then he said, she told me that she's pregnant and she told me that the kid is not mine. That is what he told me.
So she's pregnant, the kid's not mine.
And that's
like he's playing, he didn't know she was pregnant until that morning.
Yep.
And that she had an affair with somebody else.
Yes, and this is before I knew she was 15 weeks pregnant.
Okay.
Like, all the stuff.
What? Look at her dad. Her dad's like, God. Whew, this is bad. Why did you bring this up? I get the impression that this is, again, extra information that she shouldn't be giving, but she is giving because for the same reasons she wants to... Yeah, she's right. My cat agrees. So she agrees too. We're both watching the same thing, and I think my cat agrees with me. Yeah, my cat agrees. My cat thinks it's all bullshit. I'm getting the impression that, again, she's giving information that she probably shouldn't be, but she's over here like, oh, you know, I know all these other things. And I do think that she came up with this idea. I believe that Nicole came up with this story, and that's what was supposed to be in text between Shannan and Chris. However, of course, the plan fell through because Shannan ended up changing her password, so she wasn't able to put it in writing. But I think that the idea came from Nicole to try and make it believable that Shannan was supposed to leave with the kids, and she also cheated on Chris, which, come on, really? How is that even believable? I mean, come on. But again, here we go. She thought she was a genius, so she's like, yeah, I think this is believable. Let's just say that Shannan cheated on you, and the kid isn't yours, and you found out, and that was what the argument was about, and so then she just took off with the kids, and all of it is in text because she's texting the realtor, she called the realtor. She was also supposed to call the school to disenroll Bella and Cece, but that didn't happen again because the entire plan fell through, so it was Chris who ended up doing that. But I think that this was the original plan. And she's letting us know because she's giving us way more information than the investigator is asking. He's asking other questions and she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna give you information on that, duh. So I'm gonna tell you other things, but also the dad's like, dude, you are saying too much. I'm here to help you not incriminate yourself, but you're also doing it yourself. Because again, what is the point of this? Why would she have to say that? She's like, oh, you know, I think he only said that to me. He like lied to me and he probably gave you guys the more accurate story, but it's because he was trying to cover his sorry ass with the pregnancy, even though she already knew. She already knew Shannan was pregnant. But here we have her. Like, let me tell you this though, he did tell me that the baby wasn't his. Because again, I believe that that's the original story. I think that's what was supposed to happen, which would have made the entire disappearance more believable. Because why would Shannan just up and leave with Bella and Cece and she's pregnant and she didn't tell her friends, she didn't tell her family. But it was gonna be more believable if Shannan cheated on Chris and got pregnant by some other guy and she's like, yeah, I don't want you anymore, I'm just gonna dip out. Bye, peace. And then everything else was supposed to just happen flawlessly. The text messages, the phone call to the school, the Lexus backing out, and all of that was supposed to be smooth. But it wasn't, because Nicole Atkinson ended up calling the cops. I am almost certain that in a different dimension, if Shannan had not changed her password, this story would be very different. We would be seeing a completely different story here. Let's continue.
On Monday that I read is from my recollection, because I didn't find out she was pregnant until Tuesday. So anything that got posted on Monday did not emphasize the fact that she like had a baby on board.
I didn't find out till Tuesday. All of this information, I didn't know that she had a baby on board. Let's continue.
So then,
Let me ask you something. You said that he usually gets up in the morning and just, it's him and she gets up and takes care of the kids. Is that the routine that you know for them? Or do you know him to get up and like prepare meals prior to him leaving the home?
well, he gets up and he like goes to the gym and he works in his basement and like makes breakfast. And I don't know.
Does he make breakfast for himself or does he make breakfast for his children?
I don't know. I don't know. They're still sleeping at that point. Like, all I know is he, at one point in sometime in this whole thing, he told me that they usually get up at like 6:30 and she gets him ready and takes him to school and like does all the morning stuff with them, as far as I know. And then in the afternoons when he gets home from work, he kind of does more of the afternoon stuff.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a tag team operation that they have going on, but I think she does more in the AM and he does more in the PM. It's kind of how I process that, but I don't know.
Okay. So she's mean to him and then throws this out.
Yes.
That she's pregnant from another.
And I said, do you believe her? And he was just like, he said something about like, oh yeah, like she kind of looked like she was showing when we were in North Carolina, but I wasn't sure. And I'm like, so you think she's pregnant? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, do you think she's like having an affair? And he's like, I think she said that out of spite. And he's like, and I was like, okay. And then, and again, like, I think he's just saying all this to me to try to cover his tracks with me. Like, I don't know what he told you guys, but I bet it's probably very different. And I think that what he said to me, it was like directed towards me. Like,
She said, I don't really know what he told you guys. I'm pretty sure she did know what Chris told them, because there is evidence that she was trying to get on a 3-way phone call with Chris and the investigator. And since that didn't work, right, there was a lot of static or a lot of noise and the phone calls weren't connecting. She then asked Chris to call her from the work phone so that she could hear the conversation that Chris was having with the investigator. Chris had 2 phones going on at the same time so that Nicole can hear the conversation that he was having with the investigator, since the 3-way phone call failed. So she knows what they were talking about. Of course she does. The evidence is out there. Occam's razor. Occam's razor. Why else would she be trying to get on a 3-way call with him? Why would they text back each other and be like, oh, here, call me instead. Oh my God, here, like, call me from your work phone instead. She was listening to what Chris was talking to the investigator about. And at this point, she should already know that Shannan and the girls have been missing. Something bad must have happened to them. But she's still here as the innocent mistress, trying to get on a 3-way phone call and trying to see what Chris says. None of this, no. Like, if you're innocent, why are you doing this? We have another case that is similar, and we have another mistress who was actually lied to. And she wasn't going behind anybody's back asking Scott to call her back and link me up on this 3-way call because I want to see what you're telling the investigators. No, on the contrary, she was helping the police. She was the one calling Scott, to see if she can get more information. All of those phone conversations were being recorded so that she can help the cops. This is different. She was trying to cover her and she was trying to get as much information as she could by seeing what this idiot was telling the police. Let's continue.
This whole bullshit little box lie that he had right there was like the lie.
Did he say when the argument started?
No.
He
He said in the morning. He said he woke her up in the morning.
Did he say when she came home? Did he ever let you know?
I think I want to say he said around like 2, but I don't know.
And then he woke her for what purpose?
I think he said around 2, but I don't know. Yeah, she knew exactly what time she was coming home because she knew what was gonna happen next. My opinion and my speculation, but she knew because she knew what was supposed to happen next in their little playbook, the one that I suspect they came up with at the Lazy Dog. And before, all of this was premeditated. So a lot of ideas were being thrown out there on how to get rid of Shannan and the girls. So I think they finally came to the conclusion and a solid plan, like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. The rest of it, leave it to me. I'm gonna get there at around 6 a.m. I'm gonna go in through the back. I'm gonna text, I'm gonna pretend it's her. I'm gonna drive the car out, I'm gonna go dump it, and then I'm gonna go to work, pretend like nothing happened. I'm not gonna clock in, I'm gonna call my guru. And then, you know what, then we'll see it play out. No one's gonna miss her. No one's gonna think anything happened to her. A pregnant woman and her 2 children? It's gonna be weeks till people find out. Unfortunately for them, Shannan was loved. She was loved by her friends, she was loved by her family, and she was loved by the community. She was all over Facebook. Everyone knew her. So the fact that they didn't believe that anyone would call the police, that was their biggest flaw in this entire plan. They underestimated how much people loved Shannan, assuming that no one would care, which is just incredibly sad. Like, how could no one care about Shannan and Bella and Cece? These 2 actually believed that no one would call and no one would report her missing is so telling of people who feel no empathy and who just are willing to do anything to get people out of the way for their own goals, their own selfish goals. Let's just get rid of them. Let's continue.
Because she asked him to.
Okay.
So I was under the impression that he was asleep. I'm assuming this is how it went, and what he was trying to tell me is that he was asleep by the time she got home. She sent him a text and said, "Wake me up before you leave." And then he woke her up, and they got in an argument, and then he went to work.
Okay.
That's how I thought.
And the context of that argument again was just the...
I think here she is laying out the actual plan, right? The plan that they were supposed to flawlessly execute, but didn't. And I believe, this is speculation and my opinion, I believe that this was the conversation that Nicole and Chris had the night before. That 2-hour-long conversation that they had.
She's gonna text you, you're gonna wake her up, you're gonna do the deed, you're gonna go to work, you're gonna drop off the bodies, I'm gonna sneak in through the back, I'm gonna text the realtor, I'm gonna call the school, I'm gonna text you back and forth, I'm gonna let you know that I'm leaving you because the baby is not yours. I cheated on you. I'm leaving to go be with this man. Nobody knows who this man is, not even my friends or my family, because I'm ashamed. I'm gonna text you that. And then get in the Lexus, drive out, drive it away. I'm gonna go park it somewhere really, really far away. I'm gonna leave all of the stuff in there. And then I'm gonna go to work. And then we're gonna pretend like nothing happened. When people ask, you let them know that she called, you show them the text messages. The text messages are there, they're gone, they're disappeared. This week, we need to sell the house because we're already looking for a place to stay. I'm gonna look for apartments because we're already gonna move out. You're gonna sell the house, we're gonna find a place to stay. We're gonna pretend like nothing happened. People are gonna wonder what happened to Shannan and the kids. Everyone's gonna think she's a bad mom and she cheated on you and you're gonna be the victim. Everyone's gonna feel sorry for you. No one's gonna believe that you did anything to them because why would they? Look at all this evidence that you were such a good dad. It's all over Facebook. Shannan posted a picture of this doll with a sheet over the face, so who knows, maybe they'll think that she killed the kids. And then we're just gonna move on like nothing happened. 3 years down the line, it's gonna end up on Investigation Discovery. We'll be watching the episode together in our new apartment.
Or hopefully our new house.
And we're gonna be watching Unsolved Mysteries. And we're gonna drink to that. Cheers.
That is what I believe. Let's continue.
She's pregnant. And is there anything else that he shared with you?
He did not elaborate on it, and I didn't ask.
What were you thinking at that time?
This was like on Monday. Again, at that point, I was like, I still thought she left. I mean, this was all on Monday. Like, I legitimately thought this woman left the premises with her kids and just wanted nothing to do with him for like 24 hours.
So his story was believable that she was pregnant from another man and maybe she took off for that guy, or...
He said several times, like, I think she just said that out of spite.
Okay.
Like, he thought she was with one of her friends.
So he still held true to that story.
Pretty much.
She's just leaving and she's with a friend.
That was kind of what he thought. And that's kind of what he had me believing. And at the time, I wasn't really alarmed because it had been like a half a day.
Sure.
And so then Tuesday rolled around. And
Did you see him at all on Monday? You said you didn't,
No.
right?
I did not see him. And I went to work
Did he ever try to convince you to come see him or say he wanted to come to your house?
No, not at all. We were supposed to go pick out apartments to go look at on Wednesday, so yesterday.
We were supposed to go pick out apartments. Again, these are all just my wild theories, but it's like playing it out for us. I'll say something, I say my theory, and then she kind of confirms it. And then the investigator asked her, oh, so like, do you think maybe like, I don't know, she like left with this man or something? I don't know. I really just thought that this woman left the premises. She was just gone. She wanted nothing to do with him for 24 hours. Let's continue.
But that obviously...
Right. So on Monday, he never tried to be convincing to get you to come up to see him?
No.
Nothing?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think so, because my buddy Jim was over Monday and Tuesday, and he knew Jim was over Monday and Tuesday, and that's why we were going to hang out on Wednesday.
Okay.
So no, he didn't ask me. So Tuesday rolled around, and she still wasn't around, and this is when I started getting kind of sick. Like, my friend Jim was sick on Monday when he came up, and I don't know. I just started feeling like crap as it was, and then, I was just kind of having a hard time focusing and like thinking about what was going on. And I'd asked him a few times, I'm like, where's your family, Chris? Like, where's your family? You know, and he would tell me like, oh, I don't know, or I want them home. Like, I asked like several times. So I think I got different responses, but each time like he didn't know where they were. You know, and I'm like, she's still not home. And he's like, no. And I had also asked him to like, he said he had a friend, Dave, that was a cop. Which I also find convenient that there's another Dave working in this case who's a cop. But I was like, well, Dave's off. Why don't you just have him like post up outside your house too and see if she shows up? You know, and he told me on Tuesday morning, he was like, I called Dave and asked him to sit outside my house, and he said, do it. And he's like, and then my friend Nick is coming over later on this afternoon. And I was like, okay.
Did you ever hear Nick's name before?
I've actually heard that name a few times, like, around him. Like, there's certain... I never heard Dave before. Dave was new, but I've heard the name Nick a lot, so I don't know if that's, like, real or what, but if I was to guess, like, friends that he, like, legitimately has, I would assume that he was one of them. But yeah, because I know he's told me before, like, when we first started hanging out, that Nick lived kind of in the area, and he's like, he actually goes... He's a trail runner, and he's like, he runs at East Lake number 3.
So he lives in your area?
Kind of.
Okay.
And I remember him saying that to me once. He's like, you know that park that we like hung out at? I was like, yeah. He's like, my buddy runs over there. We should not go to that park anymore. And I was like, okay. That's cool. And anyways.
Tuesday morning.
Thursday morning.
Let's just watch this part one last time before I end the video, because it's just so bad. Let's just watch it again. Let's watch this part again. She's making stuff up as she goes, and none of it is believable, and she's kind of just, oh God, I'm so over this already. Can we just move on to Wednesday? Let's watch it.
Dave named, that was a cop, which I also find convenient that there's another Dave working this case who's a cop. But I was like, well, Dave's off. Why don't you just have him like post up outside your house too and see if she shows up? You know, and he told me on Tuesday morning, he was like, I called Dave and asked him to sit outside my house and he's going to do it. And he's like, and then my friend Nick is coming over later on this afternoon. And I was like, okay.
Did you ever hear Nick's name before?
I've actually heard that name a few times, like around him. Like there's certain, I never heard Dave before. Dave was new, but I've heard the name Nick a lot. So I don't know if that's like real or what, but if I was to guess like friends that he like legitimately has, I would assume that he was one of them. But yeah, because I know he's told me before, like when we first started hanging out, that Nick lived kind of in the area, and he's like he actually goes, he's a trail runner, and he's like he runs at East Lake number 3.
So he lives in your area?
Kind of.
Okay.
And I remember him saying that to me once. He's like, you know that park that we like hung out at? I was like, yeah. He's like, my buddy runs over there. We should not go to that park anymore. And I was like, okay. That's cool. And anyways.
Tuesday morning.
Where were we at? Okay. That's cool. Of the entire video, I believed that the acting performance, I thought that performance was the cringiest part of the video. But as it turns out, this whole thing, this whole section was the worst part of the video. The cringiest part of the video. Because we are seeing that she is starting to really lose it. She's been here for 2.5 hours almost. And the investigator just keeps pushing and he's asking very specific questions. How do you know about this? Did he tell you that? And she's just like, can we just move on? I don't want to talk about Sunday anymore. Can we move on? Oh crap, Monday? Oh, I don't want to talk about Monday either. Can we talk, Tuesday? I don't want to talk about that one either. Wednesday? Oh, Wednesday is when we were supposed to go look for apartments. Can we just not talk about that one either? Can we talk about today? She's panicking and she's trying to get out of it. She's starting to lose her mind. She's starting to lose track of all of her lies. And I believe that it is the most telling part of this entire interview is this section right here, because she's stumbling and it's very visible. But anyway, I'm gonna stop it right here. We are at 2 hours and 20 minutes. This was part 5 of Nicole Kessinger's Cringe police interview. If you haven't watched parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 yet, they're gonna be on this screen somewhere whenever I'm done editing this. If you really like this video and if you wanna see some more of this content, go ahead and subscribe. And before I go, I wanna give a huge thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys so much. You guys give me all of the motivation to keep making these videos. That's all I have for you today. But anyway, I feel like I'm rambling. Oh God. Hey, no, I don't want to ramble. I don't want to become a rambler. Okay, before I keep rambling, thank you guys so much and I will see you next time.
Uy, bebecita, you're so cute, Papa. Bebecita. What baby? What baby?